Where does a person's life truly begin, and where does it end? Here is the story of a man who began as a figure in a simple dream, rose to the highest place in the world, and then fell to the most miserable end. His name was Deng Tong. The story begins in a dream of the 7th emperor of the Han dynasty, Emperor Wen. One night, the emperor dreamt he was trying to ascend to the heavens, but no matter how hard he struggled, he couldn't move. Just then, a young boatman who was rowing the emperor's boat appeared and gave him a powerful push from behind. Thanks to him, the emperor finally reached the sky. When he awoke, Emperor Wen could not forget the dream, and began to search for the boatman who had helped him. Then, one day, he discovered a handsome young man named Deng Tong, who, just like the boatman in his dream, had a distinctive tear in the back of his belt. The emperor believed this was a sign from heaven itself. From that day on, he kept Deng Tong by his side, cherishing him like a shadow. As if to repay the emperor's favor, Deng Tong offered his absolute loyalty. Even when given leave, he never left the palace, serving only the emperor. His flattery and loyalty reached their peak during one particular incident. Emperor Wen was suffering from a malignant abscess on his back. Without a moment's hesitation, Deng Tong put his mouth to the sore, and began to suck out the pus. Seeing Deng Tong show no sign of disgust before the gruesome wound, overflowing with blood and pus, the emperor was deeply moved. As a test, the emperor asked his son, the crown prince, to do the same. The crown prince, however, reluctantly put his lips to the abscess, but could not hide his disgust. This incident led Emperor Wen to trust Deng Tong more than his own heir. And from that moment, a deep-seated hatred for Deng Tong began to grow in the crown prince's heart. One day, a physiognomist looked at Deng Tong and made a prophecy. This man is fated to die of poverty and starvation. Hearing this, Emperor Wen scoffed. How dare you speak of the fate of one I cherish? Very well, I will change his fate myself. As if to mock the fortune teller's words, the emperor gifted Deng Tong an entire copper mine and granted him the exclusive privilege to mint his own coins. The money made by Deng Tong circulated throughout the entire nation, and he instantly became the wealthiest man in the country. With the emperor's love and immeasurable wealth, his power seemed to pierce the heavens. However, the world that seemed eternal came to an end, with the death of a single man, the emperor. When Emperor Wen passed away, the vengeful crown prince ascended the throne as the new emperor, Emperor Jing. The first thing Emperor Jing did was strip Deng Tong of his official rank. Then, accusing him of illegally circulating money, he confiscated his entire fortune. The wealth that was once his was returned to the state treasury. Overnight, Deng Tong became a penniless beggar, forced to live in someone else's home. His vast fortune vanished without a trace. In the end, he died of starvation in the corner of a cold room. The fortune teller's prophecy that even an emperor tried to defy that he was fated to die of starvation had come true. Deng Tong's story leaves us with a heavy question: is wealth and power gained not by one's own effort, but by leaning on the strength of another, ever truly one's own? Like a castle built on sand, the moment the force supporting it vanishes, everything disappears like a mere mirage.